I was just in a Japanese subreddit, and people were saying Japanese actually controlled Taiwan. Communist China never controlled Taiwan. First of all, when the PRC and the ROC were fighting their civil war, they were fighting for all of China, Taiwan included. China and Taiwan's history goes all the way back to like the Yuan dynasty, way far back. So this story is about when I was in high school. I was in an IB history class, and we got to go to a university library to research topics that we wanted. And my essay was on Japanese colonization effects in Taiwan. And at that time, I bought the same line my dad did, my grandpa did, that the Japanese colonizers in Taiwan had a very good effect, and all the bad stuff was not talked about. Yes, it is true the Japanese built infrastructure in Taiwan during their colonization, but that was for their own benefit. The reason that we're called Taiwanese, why it's called Taiwanese language, is because the colonizers found it easy to group all of the people in Taiwan, the Chinese Han and the Indigenous, into Taiwanese. So anyone that wasn't speaking Japanese was just speaking Taiwanese, even though Taiwanese language is Hokkien Minan Chinese dialect from Fujian province. So when people say, if China takes over Taiwan, Taiwanese language will be gone, just like Cantonese, that is just diaspora nonsense. So interesting enough, when I was doing research in high school, I didn't see any mention of the massacres that the Japanese did in Taiwan, like the Yunlin massacre, etc., etc. People who resisted Japanese colonization in Taiwan, they were all unalived. They could not survive. The power differential was too big. The ones that remain are the collaborators, the people willing to get down on their knees and collaborate, and then the comfort women. Very tragic, very vile, very dark human history. And it's interesting to me that I didn't know any of this, even though I was in a advanced placement history class. And I went to a university library, and all the English sources just talked about how good Japanese colonization of Taiwan was. And any of the bad stuff, any of the dark stuff was glossed over. I didn't see any major mention of it. Only when I started to study Chinese sources did I get a bigger picture, maybe the full picture. Maybe the truth is somewhere in the middle, but at least I'm seeing all the sources as much as possible. I'm not seeing all the sources, you know. Look, if I couldn't read or speak English well, and I was a journalist, I was considered an expert journalist on America, and all of my sources are from my assistants who feed me information, and all of my sources are in Chinese. Would you trust me? It's all translation.